I consider myself retired because I only do work I love and I only do it when I want to.
Talk to him
I
nice.
don't work
Talk to him nice. I'm let her finish that.
more than 4 days a week.
Yep.
I take weeks off at a time.
Yep.
I've taken months off and I will again. And I just do the work I want to do when I want to do it.
Sis. That's what I be saying. I don't know. Y'all seem to like these reactions, so we just gonna keep doing them. Don't forget to subscribe. This time we got a 39-year-old woman who retired early in Mexico City with about 650K. So we gonna see what that's about. I love it already though. Y'all seen the thumbnail? Come on.
How unhappy I was and how much that manifested itself in my body. In traveling, I saw how other countries and societies treated work. How in America, we are so focused on what you do and how that defines who you are. It's hard to describe how much happier I am now.
Yeah.
Now, I intentionally build a life that I love.
See, I feel like in America we just so like it's our culture, like it's a capitalist culture, like we're just so money hungry, like we just focus on the bag, we just so much about business, especially like in places like the Northeast or in major cities. Think about like in New York or LA, everyone's just focused on getting to the bag and just work, and it's not enough play. You know, you go to places like the islands and I don't know, it's the atmosphere. As soon as you land, it's just, you know, like you just feel a different vibe. I feel like in America, it's just so cold and low-key dark. At least for me, like I said, at least for me. You know, spent most of my time in New York, New Jersey. Like, that's just how it is. But yeah, I definitely feel her.
I'm Rashida and I'm 42. I
Hold up. Oh, I guess when okay.
retired to Mexico
She
City from the
retired.
United States.
She was
Before I
39.
retired, I was a consumer auto finance lawyer. My last salary was about $200,000 a year.
Damn.
I grew up middle class with parents who didn't talk to me a lot about money. Being good at saving money came from years of being reckless with money.
Yo, I love the fro. I just want to say that I love the fro. Love the earrings, top, the whole, it's everything. She.
Before I went to law school,
It's good.
in that
It's good.
time, I was really check to check. After college was the first time where I really understood how expensive it is to be an adult. I was working as a receptionist and I realized I couldn't afford myself. So I knew I needed to do something else to be able to live the life I wanted to live, and that thing was law school. I went to law school at the University of Virginia. By the time I left law school, I had about $200,000 worth of student
Damn.
loan debt between undergrad and law school.
Okay. All right. I mean, is that bad? Oh, I feel like law school expensive. Is that bad? I don't know. Let me know. Is that bad? I have to graduate and Rashida bought 2 houses in Ohio. How you go from Virginia to
I
Ohio?
was talking to a friend who invested in real estate, and I realized that I could pick up houses pretty cheaply in Ohio. I purchased my investment property for $17,000 and sold it for around $75,000, and my own home I purchased for $84,000 and sold for around $125,000.
Let me go move up to
I gotta
Ohio.
tell you,
Hold up.
I
LeBron, I'm on my way.
hated flipping houses, and that's when I learned that what might work really well for another person from a financial perspective isn't gonna work for everybody. The investing strategy that's worked best for me has simply been investing in mutual funds. So I'm very much in the stock market.
It's what works for her. It's what works for her. You don't need to hop into real estate to make bread. You don't need to invest your money in the stock market aggressively on your screen day to day to make bread. Just do what works for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't be worried about what everybody else doing and all blah blah blah. Do what works for you. At the end of the day, it's you. It's personal finance. It's you. And again, this not just money. Like I'm really breaking down life for y'all. These are life lessons. These are transferable. And whatever you're doing, it's 11 o'clock. And whatever you're doing, do it for you and do what works for you. Whether that be with people, whether that be with money, whether that be on your job, whether that be family. Do what you want to do and do what works for you. Don't be pocket watching everybody else. Like, just do what works for you.
Market, hands off, give it to a brokerage firm, invest it in one of their mutual funds, set it and forget it. So after I was laid off in 2009, it really hit me how much debt kind of controlled me, in that like I had to go to work, I had to find a job because I had to pay off this debt. And so when I got another job, my main focus with my money became paying off my debt. What I did was I really stayed focused. I paid one thing at a time, stayed focused on it, and I didn't get distracted by shiny things. As I earned more money, I just put it all towards my debt. I lived what you might describe as a FIRE lifestyle without actually knowing that FIRE existed.
Okay, hold on. For y'all that don't know, FIRE, financially independent, retire early, okay? And I mean, it's in the word, but essentially you don't become dependent upon money, right? Or money doesn't control your life, right? Financially independent. You don't have to, yeah, I think that's self-explanatory, right? And these people in these FIRE movements, their goal is to stack up as much money as possible to the point where they have financial freedom and they don't have to work a 9 to 5 till they're 62, the retire early part, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, they built up the money that they don't have to work. We didn't say that they don't work, you know, because personally for me, you know, I want to retire early. I feel like a lot of us want to retire early, or retire early in the sense of not being forced to do this job for like 40 years, be the lifer. But once I do get to that point, I want to be able to like have impacts and pretty much do the things that I love to do without being tied, without it like money affecting all of those things. You know, like I'm a giver, right? If y'all looked in that Shaq video, that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I want to leave an impact on people's lives, so when I'm gone, they're like, yo, this dude changed my life, type of thing. So,
once I got in the habit of squirreling money away towards my debt and like pushing it aside, then I just got in the habit of like pushing that same amount of money aside every month. And as it grew, as my income grew, I just pushed a larger amount of money to the side. So at first it was to my debts, and then it was towards, when there was no debt left, it went to my investments.
She lost her job. She lost her job after the company went out of business. 2018, 3 years ago. Took a year off to travel the world.
Without the layoff, I would still be there. And even with the layoff, I was second guessing my decision to go travel. I don't think I would have gone to take a career break if I didn't have the therapist I did. She was like, if you don't go now, you're never gonna go.
W therapy.
I traveled to 44 cities in I think 23 countries in my 1 year of my career break.
1 year?
But in that
1 year though? That's like 2 countries a month. 44 cities is crazy. Like 2 countries a month. Yeah, 2 countries a month. Damn near 4 cities a month. That's lovely.
time I came
Beautiful.
to Mexico City, I think 3 times in that year.
But she also said it earlier, like in the beginning of the video, that her traveling made her realize how we let money control, or we let our jobs control our lives in America. And it's not like that everywhere else around the world. Gave her a lot
It was
of
the only
perspective.
city that I repeated. And
My bad,
I
yo.
just really loved how I felt when I was here. I loved the energy of the city. My plan after my career break was to go right back and find a job. I'd be in a better mood and I'd go
Yeah.
back to a different job and things would be fine.
Yeah.
But traveling and seeing that the way we work ourselves to death in America is not common around the world made me realize that I could have a different life
Culture.
if I made the choice to have a different life.
Mhm.
I always say that I accidentally retired. I paid off all my debt,
She went
I
outside
saved
her-
money,
went outside her
and then
box.
when I realized I didn't want to work again, I did the math. I looked at my investments and I had about $500,000 saved and invested. And I knew I was
Damn.
going to get
Hold on.
another.
I'm not even like astonished by the $500,000. I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know if y'all thinking it too. If she never lost, so two major things happened with Key in her life, like that were kind of like catalysts for these things, right? The recession in '09, she had got fired from her job. It made her start becoming more financially responsible and realizing that she has to pay off her debts and all of these things. Boom. Negative turned to a positive. All right. And she lost her job again in 2018. Decided to travel the world along with, her therapist's advice. That's a negative. And now she done realize, oh, I don't necessarily have to work, or I don't have to go back to America, or whatever the case is. I could retire early. Boom, negative turned to a positive. So this is all to say, you just never know where life will take you. You never know where life will take you. And when an opportunity presents itself, same thing I was saying in the Shaq video, or he was saying, an opportunity presents itself, sometimes you just gotta take it. You gotta go with that gut feeling, and you sometimes gotta see where it goes. And that's just kind of how I try to live my life now. I'm young. Experience stuff, man. Experience stuff.
Like 150.
I much prefer an experience over, some materialistic stuff. And that's no shot at nobody. It's just that's me. Cause materialistic stuff will go. You know what I'm saying? That's, to me again, that's chump change. It's whatever. The experience though, that's gonna last a lifetime. For real.
in stocks from a company I used to work for. I knew I had about 660,000 because I knew I didn't want to go back to work. That was enough. It was enough for me to live comfortably in Mexico City or another country for a while. If I was in the US, would I have decided that was enough?
Hell no.
Probably
Need a couple
not.
mil.
America doesn't really tell us when enough is enough. People who want to retire, they have to, on their own, decide how much money they need in order to retire. Where you want to
There's a
retire, what your
reason for that,
lifestyle is
though.
going to be, what your expenses
Oh,
are.
and the FBI
But
come
that's
at
all
me,
part of
like-
doing the math that I described earlier.
Mm-hmm.
In a typical month, I spend about $2,300 to live in Mexico City. While the cost of living in Mexico is cheaper than the US, the cost of living in Mexico City is higher.
That's crazy though. Now, $2,300 is her cost of living. You know what I'm saying? That's rent, that's food, transportation, and I'm assuming just entertainment, fun kind of stuff. Some people pay $2,300 damn near it, just rent alone. That's wild.
There have been a lot of Mexico. So it's a cheaper city to live in, but it's not necessarily a cheap city to live in. One of the things I love to do
I'll
in
take
Mexico
that, though.
City is exploring the neighborhoods. They're usually really
Yeah,
great
you
places
should.
to hang out with my friends and to see, kind of look in on what the neighborhood is doing.
I see. I'm curious. Obviously, oh snap! I'm tweaking. Obviously, they not gonna talk about this in the video, right? This is CNBC Make It. We talking about money, how she retired early at 39, yada yada yada. But I wonder, like, how safe it is as a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, to live in another country, to live in Mexico City or anywhere in Mexico. I just wonder.
And I have a couple of favorite dessert places in town, including some gelato shops that I love. I do have a temporary visa. I have a visa for 1 year. It's a residency visa. I came down initially on a tourist visa, and I rented my apartment while I was on a tourist visa, and I did everything while I was on a tourist visa. But I knew I wanted to stay here, and I didn't want to keep making trips back to the States to stay here, so I got my
I believe you can't stay in Mexico over 6 months. So like she would have to keep going back and forth kind of.
temporary residence visa, and I will renew it, and then in 4 years I can get my permanent visa.
Welcome back, my name is Rashida, and you're here watching Shida's on the Moves. Today we're talking about life in Mexico City and all the things I love about it.
Strangers, mostly women, were reaching out to me and saying, oh, like you took a career break? I want to do that too. Can you tell me more about it? I was helping everyone who came along, and eventually I realized that this could be a business. And so I became a career break coach. I help women who want to take career breaks, leave jobs that don't deserve them behind, and go travel the world or move abroad and just do what makes them happy. So I'm helping other women, and specifically Black women,
Most jobs
realize
don't deserve
goals
you,
that they
though.
didn't even know they had. A lot of times I hear from
Looking
women
at you
who
in
were
court.
like, I've always wanted to live abroad, but I didn't think it was possible. And so a lot of my time is spent showing people the possibilities and talking to them about what their life could look like if they made the leap too.
3 to 5K a month. And that's covering her living expenses, her cost of living, and some. And you know it's only gonna grow from here, especially after this video. W decision. W decision. W decision.
The income that I'm getting from this prevents me from having to withdraw anything from my investments. So I very rarely touch my investments, so they're continuing to grow. A lot of people think
Oof.
that retirement means
That's so
you're
tough.
not working at all. And if you
That's
are
so
working,
tough.
you're not really retired. I consider myself retired because I only do work I love,
Talk
and I only
to
do
him.
it when I want to.
Talk to
I
him nice.
don't work
Talk to him nice. I'm gonna let her finish that.
more than 4 days a week.
Yep.
I take weeks off at a time.
Yep.
I've taken months off, and I will again. And I just do the work I want to do when I want to do it.
Sis. That's what I be saying. You want to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, where you want to do it, all of that. All of that. I ain't even, how I know she was going to say all of that? I ain't even, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I was the best version of myself when I traveled. In that
We here. We here. We are here.
I was open, I was not stressed, I was allowed to do whatever I wanted to do. The only person who could make demands on me was myself.
Oh my goodness.
When I had the opportunity to rebuild my life from scratch, making every decision I wanted to make, I made the decisions that made me happy, and I can't imagine from now into the future ever making decisions that don't bring me this joy. I'm very open to what's next. So it's Mexico for me right now. I can see myself in other places for months at a time. I don't know, but Mexico is it forever. I am open to
Tough.
whatever comes my way.
W woman, tough. W black woman, tough. Man, if you don't, look, if you ain't drop a like after watching that, if you don't subscribe after watching that, I don't know what you doing. I don't know what you doing, man. What are you doing? That was so inspirational. So inspirational.